You think you know what's happening? Think again. In the next few seconds, I'm revealing a secret that the cast kept hidden for decades. Something so unexpected, it'll make you rethink everything you thought you knew about your favorite childhood sitcom. Over the years, whispers and behind-the-scenes chatter about the What's Happening cast have continued to surface, painting a more complex picture of life off-camera. While the sitcom appeared lighthearted and wholesome on TV, the real-life dynamics between the actors were sometimes filled with tension, misunderstandings, and even financial struggles. Earl Billings, for instance, has previously hinted that the success of the show did not always translate to financial security for its stars, with some cast members feeling underpaid compared to other sitcom actors of the time. Danielle Spencer, who played Dee, often spoke candidly about the fact that the cast was like a real family. And like in any family, there were arguments. It's been said that creative differences occasionally caused rifts during production. Some crew members recalled days when filming would be delayed because of disagreements over lines, character arcs, or even wardrobe choices. And while these disputes rarely made it to the public eye, they revealed that the show's perfect chemistry sometimes required extra work behind the scenes. There were also personal challenges from illnesses to career setbacks that cast members faced once the cameras stopped rolling. Fred Berry, Rerun, for example, battled with fame and its pressures, which contributed to publicized struggles later in his life. These real-life hurdles add a bittersweet layer to the legacy of What's Happening, showing that while the laughter on screen was genuine, the journey behind it was far from easy. While What's Happening looked like a fun, wholesome sitcom on the outside, insiders and later interviews have revealed that the atmosphere on set wasn't always as lighthearted as the laugh suggested. The cast, though close at times, dealt with their fair share of tension, misunderstandings, and even financial disputes. One of the most surprising truths was that several cast members were deeply unhappy with the pay structure. Despite the show's growing popularity in the late 70s, many felt underpaid compared to other hit sitcom actors of the era. Danielle Spencer, who played Dee, once admitted in an interview that she was shocked to learn just how little everyone was making despite the show's high ratings. Earl Billings, who played the lovable but often grumpy Uncle Earl, reportedly backed up these frustrations, revealing that they often felt the producers were profiting far more than the talent. There were also reports of creative disagreements. Some cast members wanted to see more mature or socially relevant storylines, while the producers pushed for lighter comedy to keep the tone family-friendly. This clash sometimes created tension between the younger cast who wanted to push boundaries and the network executives who wanted to play it safe. And then there was the issue of favoritism. Certain actors allegedly felt that the writers gave more screen time and better storylines to select characters, leaving others sidelined. While this didn't result in public feuds at the time, it's clear that under the smiles and sitcom charm, not everything was as perfect as it seemed. While What's Happening was loved for its wholesome, lighthearted humor, the set wasn't always as cheerful as what fans saw on screen. Sources close to the production have revealed that tensions sometimes flared between cast members fueled by creative disagreements, personality clashes, and the pressure of fame. One of the most talked about incidents involved disputes over pay and treatment. Many in the cast felt that their contributions were undervalued compared to the show's success, especially as ratings climbed. This led to heated meetings with producers where some actors threatened to walk off if their contracts weren't renegotiated. According to insiders, Danielle Spencer, though usually quiet, stood her ground during these talks, fighting not just for herself, but for her co-stars as well. Earl Billings, who played Rob on the show, was also known to be vocal about fairness. While his public statements have always been diplomatic, some crew members claim he was a strong advocate for equality on set and didn't hesitate to call out any mistreatment. This combination of camaraderie and conflict created an atmosphere where loyalty and tension existed side by side, shaping the cast's off-screen relationships for years to come. Even decades later, some of these unresolved issues still linger in interviews and memoirs from cast members, proving that the magic of TV often comes with a complex and sometimes messy reality behind the cameras. While What's Happening became a classic in the history of black television, the atmosphere behind the scenes wasn't always as harmonious as the laughs and smiles we saw on screen. Earl Billings admitted in past interviews that while he had great chemistry with much of the cast, there were moments of quiet tension, particularly around how certain characters were portrayed and how much screen time they received. Danielle Spencer, despite being a breakout star as Dee, often felt her opinions about her character's development were brushed aside. According to Billings, there were conversations that never left the dressing room. Discussions about pay disparities, creative disagreements, and how the show's producers sometimes ignored the cast's cultural concerns about certain scripts. Billings recalled one moment in particular when Spencer fought for her character to be written as more than just this smart-mouthed little sister, but the writers wouldn't budge. That left her feeling frustrated, even though she still brought her all to every scene. As the years went by, some cast members remained close while others drifted apart. Billings admitted that he and Spencer weren't in constant contact after the show ended. But every time they reconnected, she carried that same mix of wit and wisdom that made her unforgettable on screen. And now with her passing, he says he feels the weight of missed chances, the phone calls never made, the conversations never had, and the memories left unspoken. Her death has also reignited conversations about how Hollywood in the 70s and 80s treated its black actors, with many receiving little protection, inconsistent pay, and minimal career support after their shows ended. For Billings, this loss is not just about saying goodbye to a co-star. It's about recognizing the struggles they all endured while building a cultural landmark that still resonates today. As the news of Danielle Spencer's passing shook Hollywood and nostalgic TV lovers worldwide, Earl Billings took a moment to address not just his own feelings, but the entire What's Happening fan community. In a heartfelt video shared on social media, his voice trembled as he spoke about how Danielle wasn't just a co-star, she was family. Earl recalled the long hours on set, the laughter between takes, and the way Danielle always managed to light up the room, even when the cameras weren't rolling. He admitted that the years after the show's end weren't always easy for any of them, and life had taken them in very different directions. Yet, he said Danielle remained a sister to him, someone he respected deeply, admired for her resilience, and cherished for her kindness. Earl Billings' reaction to Danielle's death is especially poignant because there wasn't just an on-screen relationship. Behind the cameras, Earl was something of a mentor and big brother to Danielle. Over the years, even as the cast pursued different careers, they stayed in touch, occasionally reuniting at events and private gatherings. Earl has spoken in past interviews about his pride in watching Danielle grow from a child actress into a strong, independent woman, a journey that made this loss all the more personal for him. Danielle's untimely passing has reignited conversations about the pressures and health risks faced by actors, especially those who start young. Earl and other cast members have highlighted how the industry often neglects the long-term well-being of its stars, particularly child actors who grow up under intense public scrutiny. While Danielle's cause of death has sparked curiosity, Earl's focus has been on encouraging fans and fellow performers to prioritize health, wellness, and self-care, a reminder that life off-screen can be far more challenging than it appears. On screen, What's Happening was a feel-good sitcom filled with dance contests, comedy mishaps, and that famous soda drinking scene that still circulates in memes today. But behind the laughs, things weren't always so harmonious among the cast. Multiple sources from the set have revealed that tension started brewing during the second season, largely due to disagreements over pay and creative direction. Fred Berry, Rerun, in particular, became a polarizing figure. His fame skyrocketed so quickly that he began demanding higher pay and more screen time, which reportedly rubbed some of his co-stars the wrong way. Ernest Thomas, Raj, once hinted in interviews that there were moments when egos clashed so badly that certain actors refused to rehearse together unless a producer stepped in. Then there were whispers about a quiet rivalry between Danielle Spencer, Dee, and some of the older cast members. While Danielle was just a teenager at the time, she was incredibly sharp-witted both on and off-screen. Her ability to steal scenes with just one sarcastic line became a point of pride for her, but it also left some adult actors feeling overshadowed. And if that wasn't enough, crew members remember that during some tapings, Fred Berry would show up late or not at all, causing production delays. Rumor has it that in one infamous incident, filming had to be halted because Berry disappeared midday, only to be found hours later dancing at a club across town. The network tried to keep these tensions under wraps, pushing the narrative of a tight-knit TV family. But as time went on, the cracks became harder to hide. The question was, could the show survive these behind-the-scenes battles, or would the drama off-camera start to overshadow the comedy on it? When the scandal hit the public, it didn't just stay within the four walls of the church. It spread like wildfire through the congregation, the surrounding community, and eventually the internet. Members who had once looked up to this leader as a spiritual guide were now left grappling with feelings of betrayal and confusion. Some refused to believe the allegations, claiming they were fabricated by enemies of the gospel, trying to tarnish the ministry's reputation. Others, however, took a harsher stance, saying this was proof that the leadership had been morally compromised for years and that the signs had been there all along. Social media became the